Joining us now is former NATO Supreme Allied Commander, retired Admiral James Stavridis. Admiral, thank you for being with us. What does this tell you? The targeted raids into Gaza, trying to prepare the territory, perhaps, for the full ground invasion.
Yeah, it's unfolding according to plan, if you will, and that means continuously probing into this city-sized area, population, 1 million or so. I credit the Israelis for giving time, despite the frustrations and the dangers of civilians leaving. Believe me, it is better for them to leave Gaza City, get to the south. Gaza is a small place, but there is room to extract yourself from this city, get to the south. I think over time we'll see humanitarian aid flow into that region. Hopefully Egypt will open camps in the Sinai. That's all in the future. At the moment, Andrea, watch for Israel to continue to do as much targeting as it can, go after ammunition, go after fuel, go after command and control nodes, if you will, prepare the battlefield. And behind it, I think we're going to see that ground campaign begin within 24 hours.
How do you read the efforts in the north, according to the IDF also, that they have been firing into Lebanon in response to Hezbollah firing into northern Israel? These seem to be limited, again, not a full-blown invasion.
I think we are going to continue to see Hezbollah send an occasional rocket or two, but as you know very well, they have 130,000 surface-to-surface missiles up there. I don't think they will unleash that full battery. Israel is signaling to Hezbollah and therefore back to Iran, which is the puppet master controlling the strings of Hezbollah, that they still have capacity to engage on that northern front. And close with this, Andrea, if I were talking to Hezbollah about Israelis coming up and striking and having capability, I would also say to Hezbollah and to Iran, hey, take a look to the west, look out to the sea. There's an American carrier battle group. There's another one coming.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, Admiral. There's also the IDF now currently saying that they are attacking military targets of the Hamas terrorist organization throughout the Gaza Strip in a more extensive attack, with more details to come. And Hamas, according to the Associated Press, is claiming that 70 people, and we have to be very careful about attributing this to anything. Hamas is obviously not a reliable source on this, but they say that 70 people, they claim mostly women and children, were in a convoy killed in an Israeli airstrike fleeing Gaza City. We don't know if that actually happened, but we're going to be seeing a lot of these reports flying back and forth. Admiral?
Yeah, I'll make a point here, which is that everything that Hamas did in Israel was deliberate. These were terrorist attacks unleashed against innocent women, children, elderly, babies, nurseries. We have striking evidence of that, sickening evidence of that. That was deliberate. In the course of this attack, I am confident Israel will do everything it can to minimize collateral damage. Could there be an inadvertent event? Perhaps. But my money is on the Israelis to do everything they can to try and minimize collateral damage. Exhibit A would be they're not going for shock and awe. They're not trying for a surprise assault. They're giving an extraordinary amount of notice, encouraging civilians to leave. That's a big difference between these two militaries.
And in fact, in giving this notice, they have given a lot of time, while we've seen in plain view the massing of the tanks and the armored personnel carriers. So these vehicles have been massing in large numbers. The reservists are up. Does the Israeli Defense Force have enough now to put in the northern front as well as in the southern front, should Hezbollah decide? And I should have pointed out, The Iranian foreign minister was in Beirut just this week, consulting with Hezbollah. So they're making a decision, in plain view as to how to proceed.
Indeed. And we all need to bear in mind both Hamas in the south in Gaza and Hezbollah in the north are evil creatures of that rotten theocracy in Tehran. Make no mistake, Tehran is pulling the puppet strings here. I think, don't know, but I think Tehran will come down on the side of restraint to the north because they know if they directed Hezbollah to begin a full-scale attack on Israel, yes, the IDF has the capability to thwart that attack, and B, the United States will enter this conflict, in my view, on the side of Israel. That's why our president has said quite directly to Iran, don't even think about it. I think that's good advice from Joe Biden.